It wasn't even a minute. Okay, so I'm right back. So anyways, the difference in woke and awake, because this is something that is, I think, is being kind of misunderstood right now. And I might have talked about this before because I know it's on my mind a lot of the time. But when I very first started going through, like, I don't know, they have like it divided up with the dark night of the soul and stuff like that. But when I started going through that transformation, and there was a lot of things that had to happen before I got to just that one part, because there was like a whole breakdown of self that I had to go through. And I think that's what they refer to as the dark night of the soul. And that's the part that's really super hard to go through. And it's, you get super suicidal. It's really hard. If you know anyone that's going through that stuff, you really got to, like, put your arm around them, or just give them a shoulder or something, because it's definitely very hard. You have to face so much about yourself and accept yourself and love yourself, but you get slammed with a lot of your choices, and why would I do that, and having to face your demons, and it's your shadow self. So going through that part was one thing, and then getting to the part where you have to start rebuilding yourself. And then I had other things going on too spiritually that even made it more complicated, that I don't talk about. But I say I will talk about them, but it's like things have to go play out, and then I'll talk about them, because I've got this stuff to talk about, and that would just turn into a different kind of conversation that I'm not ready to do yet. But so anyways, but this part of my spiritual journey was after the dark night of having to then rebuild myself and figure out who myself was and stuff like that. And it was in that part where you start having okay. So it's in that part where you start having this part of you that is, we start, like, that's when I started realizing there's crimes against humanity. I kept saying to people and stuff like that, like, how are they selling us the earth? Like, how do they own the earth? Like, how can they do, I started really getting into this, like, I was just seeing things in a totally different way. And it started being like, it started being called woke. If you're woke, then you're starting to wake up, to this understanding of things not being what they appear to be, kind of. But it's, at the time it was called woke. You were more woke. You were more looking at things in a deeper way. But then that kind of got manipulated and switched, and it got taken over by of course, the leaders, and taking us down the tyranny drive. But that they, kind of took it over, that, the whole liberal agenda that they follow with our programming and stuff. And you can look up all about it. I mean, I've seen this stuff over a few years now. It's really hard, but, like, you can look up, like, this stuff. They have it in government documents. That's how bad it is. Like, I think it's like Agenda 21 or something. Like, go look up about, they talk about their plans to get rid of us and manipulating our language, all of the stuff, poisoning us, everything. I might be saying the wrong agenda because I'm horrible with numbers and stuff. But anyway, there's information out there in government stuff of their plans. And they put it right out there. But we don't go in and look. We don't go look up government documents. We just trust them. Here, take half our money and we'll just keep giving you money and complaining about you. And we don't look up into seeing what they're doing. And they easily distract us because one of their tentacles is the mainstream media, and they own all of the, production companies, all the agencies. They own the celebrities. They own every fucking thing. All for us. All to just manipulate us. But somehow they took over that whole thing about woke, and it started being about social justice warrior kind of stuff, like the social consciousness of wokeness, like to be socially minded. But the whole thing is that it's being manipulated. It's what they are calling socially progressive and stuff. And the stuff that they find socially progressive is very manipulative, and it's causing division and causing fighting and stuff because it's underhanded. And, they've used it against us for a long, long time, forever, and we didn't notice. But now in this period of time, which this is why it's called the awakening, is because you are waking up to these different manipulations, which is a part of your waking up as a conscious being, as a soul, and having control over your environment. But it's all a huge process, and it seems to go step by step. And I've said a lot of people are going through it, and different things are leading them down these roads, but there still is this one big one that we have hanging over us. That is when they realize that they're in the hamster habitat of control and manipulation. Because that's one thing, is all of these people who are woke, they don't realize that they are actually being persuaded with their belief systems by a controlling, manipulative wizard behind the curtain, who is making them think that the things that they say and think are the way it should be. And that's why we have these people who feel justified in their behaviors that are just completely outlandish if they stopped and thought about it. But you can't reason with them. You can't get them to snap out of it. You can't do a trigger word to get them out of it. That's why whatever this is that's going to happen has to be the lights going on and the programming stops, and they all have to all of a sudden realize, hear their brains or something. And the whole thing is that our language and the words and stuff are being so manipulated by these people. And they've it's called the liberal agenda and stuff like that, but that's just wording. It is the same controllers. They've come in as the Nazi party. They've come in all different ways. They don't always come in with the same name, but they always come in with the same attitude. And it is to create division and take us down and to control us. And, because of this other cosmic astrological happenings, that it is the universe is working in sync with humanity to wake them up, to see, to take responsibility and stuff. But the people who are still I get told I'm not woke enough because of this or because of that. I need to be more woke. And it's the last thing you want to do is be woke. You don't want to be woke. Woke is part of the narrative. It is the controllers. That's their stuff. Now what you want to do is you want to focus on, the Great Awakening, as they call it, or any type of awakening. And it is all in the awakening of your soul, the rising of the Kundalini. It is an expansion of self. It is this consciousness realizing itself. It's a much bigger thing than just one little thing. If you keep everything stuck on woke and stuff like that, if you keep us trapped in that, look at what a manipulative environment it is, and how there's so much division. And it is, how can you not look at some of the things and just see it's bad for society? The only way that we can really be productive is to accept one another. And Yeah, so what if everybody has an opinion and nobody's opinion matches yours? You don't have 12. You don't have to change your opinions, but still getting other people's perspectives and other people's opinions gives you an opportunity to expand your own. Just like this morning when I was talking to my daughter, who keeps going in and out of here, that that certain song that was about a lot of stuff with the female genitalia getting wet and stuff like that. And to me, in my opinion, as a woman that has gone through and seen some things change in women's lives over from the 60s, that is taking us backwards. That is not, I don't want my grandkids to think like, hey, I just focus on this. I want them to focus on empowering themselves, being able to take care of themselves and stuff like that. Not, that they are, to me, it's kind of like, especially coming from being, sexually assaulted from the time I was little, is that it is overly sexualizing a woman. It's like just drawing attention to that. And, I always have felt I'm more than that. I'm more than my body. I'm a person inside of here. And so, yeah, I don't like things that just, talk about the colors of our skin or making us just, a part of our body or something. I don't know. I just don't like it. And hopefully that made sense, because I know I talk in like a weird roundabout way, but hopefully that made sense, because then because her thing was, I always liked hip hop, and when I was a teenager listening, it was always the men just talking, degrading women and stuff like that. And this is the women, going back at them. And, so I was like, okay, well, thank you for that perspective. I have no feeling towards hip hop. I didn't grow up on that music, and it was never really a part. I've got a few old songs that I like, but, I definitely don't know the stuff about it. So, okay, interesting, but I'm still going to continue feeling like degraded as a woman if I need to talk about my bodily functions, or something. It's like, I'm more than that. And and I don't think it was good for men to do it. So why is the balance for, okay, we're going to have the bar go down, so let's go down with it? Like, I think, no, we want to raise the bar, and then these people need to come up. Not like, okay, this is pretty low, let's just go lower. I don't know. I don't think that's productive as a society, as a culture or anything. So, that's just two different opinions. And there's probably a whole bunch more. And when everybody gets together and they share their opinion, like, why should we be triggered by one another's opinions? Why isn't it just that person's opinion? Because that's all it is. There should not be any feeling towards it. So, yeah, we should all be able to have opinions, and there's lots of opinions out there. We shouldn't feel like we need to socially change anyone. We need to accept everyone. We need to stop making any out of balance between colors of skin and religion or any of that. No division should occur. And I think so much of that is made up. And it's all in the programming, because when you go into actual neighborhoods and stuff, I don't think that it is the same as how it's represented on TV. And I've talked about that so many times, about how what they represent in TV is not show anything that I know, anything. And so, yeah. And so I go with what I believe around me, not what the TV says. I think it's just, all there to trick us, manipulate us, and keep us arguing. So, yeah, waking up is to realize all of that stuff and break free from the programming and get more in touch with your own self, your own soul. It's your soul awakening. And woke is just, following the rules. And the rules are not the rules. We want to break them away from them. And, so if you're going around claiming to be woke, think about, what is it that you're really claiming to be? Because woke is just like, I'm a warrior for the narrative, for the controllers, because this is what they want this world to be. And so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to police this, the social justice warriors. And, the people who are more awake, or some of them, I don't think that they even really get the whole thing about the awakening, because they were kind of more religious anyways. So they kind of now are just, they went from being like that into now it's just, we're in the end phase, the end of times or whatever, the Armageddon, but what was that? Revelations. So a lot of them kind of went into that and are focused on that, but they were more, focused on their spirit side. I mean, at least they knew there's something out there. There's something more than me. But that's been manipulated too, because, if you want to find who you are, just go out in nature, go out by the ocean, go out and watch animals, go out and watch. I had a great time one time just sitting in a chair and watching an ant for hours just maneuver around, carrying this giant heavy thing, maneuvering around, just taking his time. He'd have to climb. Sometimes he'd have to lay it down, go over, go around. I mean, the stuff this guy did to move this big load, you can't watch that stuff and not feel like, you can feel his frustrations, you can feel it, but he just keeps going, just like the spiders when they're out there making those webs all day long just to catch that meal that night. And when their web gets totally fucked, they don't sit, well, I don't think they do. They don't sit there crying to God, please, why did you do this again? But that's how we are. But anyways, that's the whole thing is, when you go out and you are in nature and stuff, you do feel more connected. You do feel more understood. I can sit out in my yard for hours and just watch the trees blow and watch the squirrels play and butterflies and stuff, because it just feels connected. You just feel like, I don't know, you just feel like a part of it. And so, that's where I think you're going to find yourself, not just in another book trying to control you. So anyways, that's my take on the woke and the awakening, because now is the last thing I want anybody to call me as woke. So thank you that you don't think I'm woke. Okay, so have a great day. I might say another thing too, but I'm going to go ahead and download these. Okay, bye. Have a great day.